What is going on, everyone? As you can see, I have the Cowmaro behind me, and today I'm going to be doing a walk around video telling you guys every part that is on the car, the spec sheet, what you need to know, because everyone asks a lot of different questions. Before I get this video started, I want to let you know that the Cowmaro t-shirts are now available. The link will be available down below in the description. It'll be the first link. You can go right there and purchase one if you'd like. They're pretty sweet. As you can see, my dude Tyler worked pretty hard. They have the Cowmaro up here on the front and on the back. As you can see, they have the logo, has the little turbo chain around its neck, spinning tires, of course RPM Motorsports and McCarthy Tire logos, because they do support me and help me race. So you can head down there and check it out. If you like it, go and buy one and it'll get sent right to you. So without further ado, let's get started on this video. So as you can see, I got the Cowmaro all cleaned up after a trip up here on the back of the trailer. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna walk around the car. You're not gonna see a lot of me, you're gonna see a lot of my finger, me pointing at stuff, telling you different stuff, and pretty much give you a rundown on what the car has and does and how it performs and all that. So let's get into it. So first off, the exterior of the car, pretty stock. The only thing that's done to it is it has a Heritage grille that was from GM. I paid a little extra for that, and it has this dovetail spoiler, which may or may not be on here much longer. Pretty good 3-piece spoiler install on it, I'd say is decent, maybe. Other than that, exterior wise, it is relatively stock. Nothing else done to it. No big hood yet. Stock stripes, everything else. The only other thing you might notice on the outside is this 5-inch bumper exit teardrop exhaust straight off the turbo. That's pretty much it. That's all you see. Wheels, the setup I got going on here, 17 by 4.5 front runners. Those are Raystar Dark Stars. They're wrapped in a 28 by 6 Mickey Thompson. 28 by 6 inch Mickey Thompson tire. In the back here, we have a 15 by 10. It is wrapped in a ET Street Radial Pro. I know it's a touchy subject for some of you people that might have seen the other video. This word here could really cause some issues, so we'll settle down. That's pretty much aesthetics wise all you really see. That makes it a little different than a stock Camaro. As you can see, there's no exhaust in the back. No exhaust in the back. That is because it runs out front. If we peep through this hole here, you can see a number of things. One we'll talk about is the shocks. That is a Lingenfelter double adjustable coilover. Relatively simple. They work. They're pretty good. They're drag based. I run them on all 4 corners and they work pretty good. That there is the stock lower control arm reconfigured to fit the 15-inch brake conversion that makes these semi-decent looking Raystars get on there. These are budget wheels. I didn't have money at the time. These got the job done, so I got them. I got them for like $160 a rim. If anyone's in the same position as me, they would get those wheels. So yeah, other than that, back under here, it just has a upgraded, you can't see it, upgraded trailing arm. If we peep over here to the left a little bit more, you can maybe sneak a peek, let's go down lower, of the rear end. That is a Strange Engineering 9-inch center section, has upgraded drive shaft shop axles, and 1-piece massive ass aluminum drive shaft that is connected to a TH400. We will talk more about that later. Some people ask about my rear end setup and the suspension setup. The suspension setup is nothing fancy. Good shocks. That's pretty much it. I don't have a chassis brace or anything like that. If we look up in here, you can see I have a transmission cooler with a fan. 3-speed on the street. Sometimes you need a little additional cooling. Over here, in this hole, we have a oil cooler. This helps keep my temps down because some of you guys do know that turbo cars just bake, especially when sitting in traffic. From here, we will go to the interior of the car. Now, before the interior was modified, I did daily drive this car for 6 months. Everything performance-wise was the same: transmission, turbo, rear end. The only thing it didn't have was the cage and seats. So that shows you how streetable it really is. 6 months, only car, daily drove it. Since we're in here, what we got going on is 10-point cage. It's road racing chromoly cage. Kirky racing seats, keep it simple. They work, they're good, they're comfortable. G-force 5-point cam lock, gets the job done. Also very comfortable, a little thick, a little neck rub, but went with a 3-inch wide there. You know, stock pedals, keep it stock down there. This ain't no pro mod. So I get a lot of questions about the shifter. This is a B&M Street Bandit. Pretty simple. It works really good. You know, first gear, second gear, third gear, back up to first, neutral, reverse, and forward. I will do a video on the TH400. I know I made a mediocre one before, but I will do it good next time. So other than that, in here, you know, we have some buttons. This is the bump box button. This activates my boost controller and trans brake. Here is my trans brake button right here. And that's pretty simple. These used to work the backup camera, which was attached to my mirror, which is now removed. Nice mirror delete. And this was for line lock, which we now have wired into the trans brake to prevent rocking in the beams. So as we come up here to the front of the car, this is where everyone wants to know everything that we have going on. So I will talk about some of the smaller stuff first and then really dive into it. Electronics wise, Lingenfelter 2-step. This is a timing retard 2-step. I don't use any of the timing retard. That's all done in the tune. So pretty much just set my 2-step right now. It's at 3600. We can manipulate a little bit and go from there. Line lock, have that down there. That's wired into the trans brake to prevent rocking the beam. Like I mentioned before, here are the adjustments for the front coilovers. Bump box and boost controller. It is a, might as well just show you, Davis Technologies. I think it's a B. Oh, there it is in there. Next to the time slips, got to cover these up. The Davis Technology BB 300 bump box and an AMS 1000 boost controller. I'd say they're pretty good. A lot of adjustments on the bump box, and you can really play with it a lot. So we will start off with fueling. These are Holley fuel rails. They have 85-pound injectors on them. It is powered by a 4 triple pump system, and that is good. It's capable of 1800 horsepower. This car only runs on pump gas and C16 at the track. Will need bigger injectors if I want to go E85, but on this motor setup, I'm pretty content on just doing what I do now. When I put a new motor in this, E85 is definitely a possibility, but as of right now, it gets the job done and it works. The tune is done by Chris Crawford at RPM Motorsports. Very good tuner. Make sure my shit stays safe and makes a lot of power. So let's get into it. From the motor, we have Stainless Works 1 7/8 inch forward-facing headers. They are up and forward, not down and forward as you see a lot, and they're heat wrapped, trying to keep the heat down. These will be ceramic coated in the future. We have Turbo Smart 44mm wastegates, got 2 of them right here. That goes down and connects into a big ass turbo. That turbo is a Precision 8891 billet Gen 2 turbo. I barely tap into it. The most it ever sees is maybe 19 pounds, maybe 21 on a spike during shifts, and that is it. The motor can't take it. The motor itself, I'm finally going to tell you what all is done to it. The motor is the stock block. It has pistons and rods. Those are Cali Comstars or something like that. I really don't know. They were lower end, you know, upgraded pistons and rods. Again, building the motor, ran out of money. Couldn't go up in cubic inch, couldn't put a nice crank in it, so it has the stock crank. It is balanced. Other than that, it is a 4-bolt head, so you know, we're really limited in boost and how high we can go before we push the heads off the motor or start pushing water. So we got the turbo down. The turbo then all the piping is done custom. This is done by Jeff Short. That's with 2 T's, not 1 T, 2 T's. At RPM Motorsports. He pretty much built my entire car, and he works on it pretty much exclusively. Donnie hops in and helps out. Off the turbo, it goes into this nice race ProCharger intercooler that you guys can barely see. It's tucked up behind this bumper mainly. Not good airflow, but it gets the job done. Keeps the intake air temps pretty low, and we make a lot of good power throughout the entire run. From there, it comes off the ProCharger intercooler, down underneath it, back up into the stock throttle body, stock LS3 throttle body, stock LS3 intake manifold, just like that. Pretty simple, you know. A lot of stock parts, if you haven't noticed. I'm working like it's kind of a budget build, motor-wise. Doesn't have a nice intake manifold, doesn't have a nice block, doesn't have nice heads, stock LS3 heads as well. You know, stock, obviously it's got a cam in it. That cam is a custom grind RPM, boost cam, turbo cam, what have you. Thing makes a ton of power for what it is. I mean, it's ridiculous. Also have an upgraded radiator with dual fans. You know, the biggest thing with this car is trying to keep it cool in traffic, because I do drive it so much and everything is crammed in there and it's just massive and hot. From the back of the motor, we have a... Oh, also, I should mention, right under here, right behind this thing, is a big red blow-off valve by ProCharger. That's what makes that wonderful noise that you guys hear so often. Behind the motor, we have a 10.5-inch yank converter. I know I've had some trouble with converters before, but a lot of that stuff was self-inflicted. One of them was bad luck, and looks like we got a good one in there now. The car is pulling great, and it feels good. Behind that, we have a RPM Transmissions TH400, you know, just a simple 3-speed. It has coast gears in it, so it's very nice. Get done with the pass, take your foot off the gas, and let it roll. That is pretty much the basics of the setup. Now, I'm leaving out a million different things, all the little parts, all the fittings, everything you need, all the different wiring, all the different braided lines, all the different clamps, and everything that you need. That was pretty much the bulk of what's going on here. And in case you guys are wondering, the turbo does have an intake on it. Does have a filter, you can see down there. Yeah, thing's massive. But that's pretty much it. If you guys didn't notice from what I was saying, it's a simple setup, you know. Big turbo, have big piping to it, have good flow, run it through a good intercooler, and you know, a lot of stock components in the motor, and get the job done. So that's what it is. Some other questions that I get asked are, I run a 350 gear in the rear. It's a touch short for me, but that's what it is. The car does not have any other weight reduction done to it. Obviously, when we did the cage, we took a couple airbags out of it, but that was just for convenience to myself. I know I'm missing a million things here, and I'm probably going to sit down and edit this video and miss something important, but it is not for sale. I probably won't ever sell this car at this point, because I've had way too much fun with it, and now I have a shirt after it. So if you're not going out there and on my website by now trying to pick up this shirt, don't sleep on this shirt. Just like I said, don't sleep on this channel. We're making moves. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, gave you a little rundown. Comment below what any other questions you have about the car. Dyno numbers, it made 1,050 at on an overboost at like 20 pounds on pump gas. Times on the car, it is a no time car. I'm sorry, I do not tell times. That's out of respect for other people that I race that are no time, and I like running no time. I think it's fun, more fun for me. So that's pretty much the rundown on the car. If you have any other comments or want to know anything else about the car, drop a comment below, and I love answering comments. I try to answer all of them. So yeah, drop a comment and I'll be sure to answer. The car is built by RPM Motorsports in Garner, North Carolina. Their link is always in the description below. Also, McCarthy Tire, they help support me. Their link is in the description below. If you ever need tires, go to McCarthy Tire. So I want to thank you guys for watching. Like always, comment, like, subscribe, and go down, check out the Cowmaro apparel, and I'll see you next time.